If I may, I actually had a little bit of an update or just something I thought would be of interest to many of you, which is what some of the steps are we're taking in these countries to communicate. And a lot of this is through, of course, the State Department and embassies. And so here's a few things we're doing. And this will obviously increase over time, but just to give you a sense of our investment. The State Department continues to, we have placed an estimated 17,118 radio ads in Brazil, El Salvador, Guatemala, and Honduras since January 21st in Spanish, Portuguese, and 6 indigenous languages. These ads played on 33 radio stations, reaching an estimated 15 million individuals. The department has also worked with Facebook and Instagram on an advertising campaign that put our migration messages in the social media streams of millions of individuals who fit the profile of intending migrants. These are very targeted, of course. A total of 589 digital ads in paid search, display, and social media supporting the ongoing migration campaign in the Northern Triangle countries have reached more than 26 million people since Inauguration Day. These ads created over 73 million impressions in the targeted countries, and we're also taking creative approaches in different countries to make sure we're reaching people, meeting people where they are. In some ways, how we try to do things in the United States. So, as an example, NBC San Salvador, a Scuro comic book and animated show seeks to deter irregular migration by addressing violence as a driver. Content focused on violent reduction reached 240,000 young Salvadorans in the targeted audience. The 2 animated episodes in this past year have been viewed by 3.6 million individuals. So each country is taking different approaches. Our embassies on the ground are obviously the experts working with countries, to your point, Steve, to figure out how to communicate clearly in languages that will be received by the people in these countries and communicate clearly this is not the time to come, our borders are not open, and we will continue to pick this up in the weeks and months ahead.
So, excuse me, is there any indication that this is working, that these ads and all this whole campaign you're running?
Well, first, let me say it is difficult to note the people who did not come. That is never a number we will have a mark on. So this is just part of our effort to send a clear message. But there's no question that funding is needed to address the root causes in these countries. That's why the president has proposed funding in his immigration bill. That is an issue he has worked on in the past for many years, including with Republicans, of course, to try to provide funding to a number of, not directly to the governments, because we want to avoid corruption in some cases, but to organizations that can help address the root causes in these countries. So it is not the only step we're taking, but a number of you have asked very good questions about specific communications that we are doing in these countries, so I wanted to venture to provide an update. Go ahead.
Now that the public is seeing some of the images, because the congressional delegation provided some photos and descriptions about what they witnessed, children who are frightened and crying, overcrowded conditions. Now that the public has seen that, is that not a crisis? And what conditions or situations, what metrics would have to be in place for the administration to call it that?
Well, children presenting at our border who are fleeing violence, who are fleeing prosecution, who are fleeing terrible situations is not a crisis. We feel that it is our responsibility to humanely approach this circumstance and make sure they are treated and put in conditions that are safe. I will say that these photos show what we've long been saying, which is that these Border Patrol facilities are not places made for children. They are not places that we want children to be staying for an extended period of time. Our alternative is to send children back on this treacherous journey. That is not, in our view, the right choice to make. And so our focus now is on solutions and putting in place policies, including expediting processing at the border, opening up additional facilities, something that you've seen developments on over the past several days, and there'll be certainly more on. Restarting our Central American Minors Program, which was stopped in 2017. Thousands of kids should be eligible to apply for that, so they're not making this journey. So our focus is on solutions and implementing them as quickly as possible.
Do you have plans to visit the border?
Not today, but I have before, and I'm sure I will again.
Yeah.
One more question on the border. there's obviously a lot of political pressure coming from Republicans in particular on this administration, but also some of the Democrats who represent some of those border districts. What can the administration do, at least in the short term, to kind of assure people that it's really taking steps to make sure that the people, children in particular, are being treated humanely, but also that you're sort of, thinking about the bigger picture weeks and months ahead?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, we were left with a very challenging situation. And, let me start by saying I think we all agree, and Secretary Mayorkas said it a number of times this weekend, let's get these kids out of CBP custody, get them into HHS custody. We've got to treat this issue in a way that is reflective of our values as Americans and do it in a way that is fair and is humane. But we have to meet the moment, and there's a lot of work going into that, and we expect to have success, but it's going to take a lot of work. I mean, again, we were presented when we came in with some serious challenges. So,
yeah.
Thank you everyone so much. Sorry, guys.
Hey guys, did you know we have a podcast called WJ Live?
The Western Journal's mission is to equip readers with the truth, and that's the same mission we have on WJ Live.
You'll hear from writers, editors, and special guests on the most important topics of the day.
You can watch us every day at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific on youtube.com/WJ Live.
While you're there, help us out by subscribing and hitting the bell so you don't miss any future episodes. See you there.